Hey friends, this is Reverend Jerry, the People's Priest, aka Father Jerry, and today I am coming to you with your Monday Musings. At one point in time, there was a very controversial televangelist by the name of Reverend Ike. He was controversial in the sense that he was like one of the precursors of what ended up becoming known as the prosperity gospel. Follow Jesus and you'll get rich and all this other stuff. And while I certainly am not a proponent of that theology, I do find sometimes Reverend Ike taught some teachings that are very helpful for living a more robust and meaningful life. And one of his teachings was feeling gets the blessing. And his whole point to that teaching was that if you learn to allow yourself to feel what it will be like to have your life in such a way that you had the blessing that you wanted, whether it's you feel yourself being healthy, having a healthy life, or you feel yourself having a more prosperous life, that is part of the formula that helps to ultimately create that blessing that you want in your life. Well, I think that's okay. That's fine. I don't really have necessarily any issues with that teaching, but I like to flip it and make it more specific and say that feeling creates healing. When we look at the gospel, we can see in the gospel many different instances where Jesus created healing by touching a particular person or them touching him. I'm thinking particularly of a passage in Matthew, which is the story of the woman who had the issue of blood for 12 years. Matthew 9:20-21 says, "Suddenly a woman who had suffered from bleeding for 12 years came up behind him being Jesus, and touched the fringe of his cloak. And for she thought to herself, if only I touch his cloak, I shall be healed." The unique part of this miracle story is that Jesus was in the midst of the crowd. All these people were around him. And this woman had in her mind the belief that if she touched the hem of his cloak, the hem of his garment, that in and of itself was enough for her to have the healing that she wanted. She felt in her body that as long as she could touch that cloak, the hem of his garment, the very edge of his cloak, that is what would create her healing. So too for us, if we take this principle and apply it to our life, if we allow ourselves to feel what it means to be whole, to be holistic, to be prosperous, to be healed, that part is the first step. Then following that, we reach out and we engage in the life that's in front of us. That in itself allows us to create the healing that we want. The healing of our mind, the healing of our bodies, the healing of our dreams. If we allow ourselves to just have our mind convicted that if we reach out, we feel the cloak, the hem of the cloak, we can allow ourselves to live a more healed, healthy, and happy life. So remember, dear friends, that life is short and we do not have much time to gladden the hearts of those who journey with us. So be swift to love, make haste to be kind. And this day and every day, remember that feeling creates the healing.
Monday Musings is a weekly series of short teachings in practical spirituality produced by C&G Communications and brought to you by the People's Priest. For ways to connect, check out the video description or visit thepeoplespriest.org. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next week.